the brand new Lions. We're ready for the moment.
Yeah.
Watching them come out.
Boom.
J-Mo shot out of a gun.
Unreal.
Minute 42 seconds into the game, already 7-0 for the Detroit Lions. I want to put Mackenzie down to sleep. I want to put the baby down to bed. Came back up, minute 42 in, already 7-0. Holy hell. What did I miss? Oh, 3 plays.
Yeah.
I missed 3 plays. One of them being one of the most explosive end arounds I've seen in some time, with some missed tackle and some lack of discipline from the Niners defense, getting got pretty much. A great play design by Ben Johnson, where they actually have guard pull away from where J-Mo ends up at. Bosa crashes. Boom. Now all of a sudden we have an edge, and J-Mo is electrifying. Then you get all the way to halftime, 24-7. I mean, it's like the Detroit Lions are headed to the Super Bowl.
Here we go.
I texted Evan Fox. Holy shit.
Yeah.
The brand new Lions are going to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
Think about Foxy.
Oh.
All week at Super Bowl.
Oh, my God.
The amount of Detroit Lions that are coming through the Radio Row where we'll be out there in
Foxy,
Vegas.
we love you.
The people that are joining the show that maybe have watched the show that we don't know watch the show, which I learned a lot of people watch our show this past weekend, which hey, thank you. Just like I told you in real life, you should not be watching this show. But people come in, the amount of so happy for you, Foxy, from people that we couldn't even expect right now to come in there and do it. That was all on deck.
Oh, yeah.
I saw all that happen at halftime. 24/7 while Journey's performing, out in Santa Clara.
Yep.
I'm seeing, oh my God, Foxy's about to have the greatest Super Bowl of all time. Buddy.
Man.
Why'd we all forget that this is what Brock Purdy does?
Yeah.
In the biggest moment, whenever he is doubted or whenever there is no chance or no possibility of something happening, this is when Brock Purdy shows up. This is the trait that Brock Purdy has that all these people that want to bury him for being a game manager just seem to leave out of the convo. He has it. What is it? How do you describe it? Well, whenever something is important, this dude's going to show up. That is what Brock Purdy has done literally since he was dropped into the NFL week 8, week 9, whatever it was last season, as the last pick in the draft. Down 24-7. You're out of it. Okay, let me thread a needle to Debo 20 yards down the field. Let me lead a comeback. Let me start running. 51 yards rushing in the second half. Would end up at 48 because he took a knee with 1 second left, 3 yards back. Don't know why I did that. Almost had a scrum for the boys. But Brock Purdy is always showing up whenever he has to, and that is a thing that not everybody has. That is something that normally as soon as we find out somebody's got it, it's like, all right, well, here's one.
Gonna go.
Everybody that's ever been talked about in that upper tier of athleticism in every single sport. Now, that was on purpose. Throws it off a guy's face.
Smart.
30, 45 yards down the field.
Well, that was momentum. That was right after the 4th down. They didn't.
Brandon Ayuk is a beast.
Yeah, he is.
Dog.
Absolute dog. And we'll talk about the momentum deniers having a rough night last night. I don't know what they're even digging deep into to explain what happened after going for it on 4th down, 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 all those types of things. And then the game swinging the complete opposite direction. And then immediately after, Nick Bosa is asked, hey, was there a moment in the game when you think it all changed? When they went for it on that 4th. Really felt good for us. Going the other way was Bosa's exact answer. But then the Niners do what the Niners have done, and they just put it away.
Yep.
Now, some suspect decisions were made by Dan Campbell, the head coach of the Detroit Lions. And Brock Purdy's a dog. He looked fast, right?
Oh, yeah.
Real
He's
fast.
moving.
Well, sneaky athlete.
He is sneaky athletic.
He's a sneaky athlete, isn't he?
Hard
Sneaky
to
speed.
tell.
Yep.
Just like this guy right here, Christian McCaffrey. Sneaky athlete.
Very sneaky.
Sneaky speed.
There's something about
First one in, last one out. Lunch pail guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Coach's son, actually. You know, that whole, those guys, they have it. The Dan Campbell decision's late. Now, I saw a lot of people that aren't Detroit Lions fans calling him a big dumb dipshit.
Sure.
This doofus that said he was going to gnaw on kneecaps in his opening press conference in the biggest moment proved exactly what we all said about this guy. This meathead ain't going to be able to do it. I would like to say that particular meathead lived by the sword and died by the same sword.
Amen.
He built a culture on consistency. He said, this is who we're going to be. We're going to be the group that are going to go a little bit harder, a little bit longer.
Right.
We're going to think a little bit deeper. And he remained true to who he had been all season in the biggest moments. The only one that made no sense, well, two. The only two that made no sense to me at all. Down 3, 4th quarter, chip shot field goal range. We tie the game.
Yes.
Just
for sure.
In my head, we tie the game there. So I think at the end of the game then, down 10 when he's driving down there, you're going to have to kick an onside kick regardless.
No matter what.
Once you get into field goal range, you make that a 7-point game all of a sudden.
Mm-hmm.
So there's two things that I personally disagree with. Everything else is just like, that's Dan Campbell football. Like right here, I mean, we should kick on first and goal even. Like whenever, just get 3 points on the board, make that into a 1 touchdown.
He's got to get into
game there.
That tight end.
The run.
You got to get in there.
Yeah, the tight end that's never caught a football.
Got to get in.
All season, running out of bounds, being an athlete. But also that's probably why he hasn't caught a football
Could be.
potentially all season. He is in the NFL, great play. But it's like, aside from those two where I'm completely confused by, everything else was just Dan Campbell playing Dan Campbell football.
Yep.
The Detroit Lions fans, how do you feel about it? You guys are all calling him a big dumb dipshit or like the rest of the world, or what's happening there?
Not me, Pat. I absolutely love that he is aggressive. I love that he goes for it. And most importantly, if I've learned anything from former NFL players like yourself, like D-Butt, like AJ, like anyone that's been on this show, the number one thing they want out of their coach is consistency. And he's been consistently going for it, and he's been consistently aggressive all season long. And guess what? He trusted his players, and they didn't make the plays. Reynolds could have caught that ball. J-Mo had a deep ball he could have caught. Like, there was a lot of plays we just didn't make. So I don't blame MCDC. I don't think the players are going to blame MCDC. I love what he did. It just didn't work out, and we said at some point this is all going to come and bite him in the ass. I just didn't think it was going to be in the second half of the NFC Championship game. And you talked about that text you sent me, and it was at halftime, and I responded to you. I said, Pat, a lot of ball left, all right? One play at a time, because I've seen 1,000 of these games.
Whoa,
and
this ain't same old Lions.
No, it's not. It's not.
You haven't seen 1,000.
And the difference between the same old Lions and the brand new Lions is the fact that Dan Campbell goes for it, and he trusts his team, and he tries to put teams away. That's the difference.
Same old Lions send kicker out there, miss kick.
Yeah.
Yes.
Block kick.
Yeah, block.
And I can't live with that.
Something like that.
That's the one I can't live with. If he got scared, if he tucked his tail and he said, we got to kick these field goals, we're not going to go for it like we did all season, that got us to this position. If we lose the game and kick those field goals, I absolutely cannot deal with that. So I'm okay with how we lost, but I am certainly bummed out.
Yeah, you're not the only ones bummed out. Dan Campbell spoke afterwards, and this minute 10 or so, I think, is a nice little wrap on everything that he had to
You
say.
can only say so much. You got to live it, unfortunately. You got to get your heart ripped out, which we did. And it's a lesson learned. And look, I told those guys, this may have been our only shot. Do I think that? No. Do I believe that? No. However, I know how hard it is to get here. I'm well aware. And it's going to be twice as hard to get back to this point next year than it was this year. That's the reality. And if we don't have the same hunger and the same work, which is a whole nother thing, once we get the offseason, then we got no shot of getting back here. I don't care how much better we get or what we add or what we drive. It's irrelevant. It's going to be tough. Everybody in our division is going to be loaded back up, and you're not hiding from anybody anymore. Everybody's going to want a piece of you, and which is fine, which is fine. But so it's hard. You want to make the most of every opportunity, and we had an opportunity, and we just couldn't close it out. It stings. It stings.
My rookie year, we were completely undefeated until we chose to lose. And I say we loosely. I was the punter on the team. Okay, I was there. I just happened to be – I didn't even know how to punt, to be honest with you, but I was there. We go 14-0, choose to lose the last two games, number one seed, go all the way to the Super Bowl. We lose to Drew Brees and his dumb baby. Mm-hmm. Okay, everybody's seen it. Mm-hmm. We did it. Had the lead at halftime. Yep. Thought they hit an onside ambush, surprise onside kick. Thomas Morstead hits it perfect. They get it. They said it was our ball, allegedly from under the pile, but then it ended up being their ball. Nobody cares. Pick six happens. We lose the game. 2 years later, we were almost completely defeated. Okay, until we got really lucky and Dan Orlovsky comes in at the end of the year and almost wins us out of Andrew Luck into RG3.
Yeah.
Which
win-win
would have been a winner regardless of that. We wouldn't have had Gruden on. We would have had Jay Gruden coaching.
Right.
But to his point, and I don't think his culture, he said, I think we'll be back. But it's very difficult. After that Super Bowl loss, I'm 23 years old, 22 years old, 23 years old. walking in that locker room. Bombed that. We lost the Super Bowl, but also like in Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You know, this is
Sure.
here most miserable room I've ever seen in my entire life because everybody in there understood very much so that the team's going to be very different next year. These same guys aren't going to be here. The same balls that bounced your way all year potentially, are they going to bounce the same way next year? How about the luck of injuries on who got hurt, who didn't get hurt? Is that going to happen again next year? How about whenever the offense just found a groove for like 10 weeks straight and just were unstoppable? Is that going to happen again next year? How about no defensive systems being able to stop the offense that we had this year, this whole offseason with defense coordinators? Are they going to be able to figure out what we were doing? Like, there's just so many question marks. So the fact that the Patriots and now the Chiefs have been able to do this is something that is very abnormal. It is not at all. So I appreciate that MCDC is taking that route whenever he's talking to his team and when he's talking to the press conference, because it's very real. But and obviously I've never went back to the Super Bowl.
Sure.
Kicked one off, lost one, never went back ever again except for to say dumb stuff in the microphones. And that's reality for a lot of teams that aren't the Patriots and that aren't Kansas City Chiefs. I appreciate MCDC acknowledging that.
Yeah, and I appreciate, Foxy, and I'm sure a lot of the Lions fans probably feel the same way. If we're going to go out, we're going to go out how we've been swinging, all season, all playoffs long. I get it. Objectively, as just a fan of the game, you took the 3 points to make it a three-possession game in the first half. It was a point in the third quarter where you could have done the same thing. So I understand being aggressive and trying to get the most out of every possession, but also understanding how the game is going. Your offense, everything was rolling your way the first half. It wasn't going that way in the second half. Take those points, live to see another. Even when you take that point, when you take that field goal, you got to kick it off as well. And usually it's going to be a 25. You got to go 75 yards to score. When you don't, that momentum, which a lot of people say is fake, I believe is real, it's going to swing the other direction. So it's tough, man. But, unbelievable season. To his point, he's always been honest. He's always, worn his heart on his sleeve. And he said, hey, we may not be here again. We talked about it a few weeks ago when the Packers, I think, were about to play the Niners. House money. Hey, we're young. Same thing with C.J. Stroud and the Texans. You just never know because of all those things you mentioned, injuries, team, the camaraderie, all those different things. Yeah, luck, all of the ball bouncing your way. Everything was going their way. It was tough to see him go out like that. But 49ers, once again, just made the plays. Once again, to Foxy's point, the players were in position to make those plays on the fourth down, even the third downs in some of those drives. So it's tough to go, but that's football, baby.
Hey, it is football. It is the beautiful game. I know they call that soccer, but did you see the differing emotions that yesterday caused?
Oh, yeah.
35,000 people in Ford Field.
Oh, yeah.
That place
So
is
many.
packed.
35,000 people at Ford Field.
Sold out in like 5 hours, they said.
They sold those tickets or they gave those tickets away?
I think it was free, but yeah.
Anyways, you had to somehow accrue. Sitting on chairs this big, very uncomfortable to watch TVs and jumbotrons of your team to have that moment together. The city getting a chance to experience each other and success, hopefully, one last time. It is a beautiful sport. Yesterday was fantastic.